Hello everybody, my name is TJ, your personal trainer in training, and welcome to My Fitness Drive. Alright, so today we're going to be going over a very beginner-friendly exercise called the 30-30-30. That's 30 push-ups, 30 sit-ups, and 30 squats. Now, does that mean you're going to hit the ground just doing your 30-30-30s? Truthfully speaking, maybe, but then again, maybe not. It really depends on the individual, where you are in your own fitness level. Do not get discouraged if you're not hitting 30. What's going to get you there is being consistent and being disciplined, and really holding yourself accountable. So if you're not able to meet 30, 30, 30, do what you can. Maybe for you that looks like 10, 15, 20, or 15, 15, 15. That's fine. So long as you're able to do a certain number consistently, then you're building yourself a foundation that you can just keep building on top of. Eventually you'll get there. Consistency is going to be key. And you might even go 40, 40, 40 and 50, 50, 50 one day. You might even want to do a block in the morning and a block at night. So you might be able to do 15, 15, 15 in the morning and then 15, 15, 15 again at night, making your 30, 30, 30 for the day. So there's going to be ways around it. Don't stress if you're not able to do 30 in one go. I mean, when I first started, I wasn't able to do 30 of anything in one go, but now I'm able to. So don't be discouraged. Just keep on that, okay? All right, and with that said, let's get right into it. Okay, so the first exercise we're going to be doing as part of our 30-30-30 program is the push-up. Push-ups are fantastic because they work out your chest, they work out your arms, they work out your back, a whole host of different upper body muscle groups that will help build up strength over time. But you do want to use proper form. So we're gonna go over a few things when it comes to doing a push-up. Okay, so the first thing is you wanna make sure that you have a straight back, right? So when you get into your push-up, you want to make sure that from head to toe, let me move up a little bit so you can see my heels. So from head to toe, your back is straight. So you're not here, you're not up here, you're here. And one way that's going to help you achieve a straight back is by keeping your head forward and making sure that your arms are staying vertical, almost completely straight, vertical. So to accomplish that, you should be at your chest level, okay? And looking straight. So your arms are not up here, your arms are not down here. There are different push-ups variations where your arms will be in those places, but just for the standard push-up, we're keeping our arms vertical to our chest. Okay, so now that we've talked a little bit about the push-up and how to keep our back straight, how to make sure we're not too high, too low at our pelvis region, and keeping our head straight, let's talk about the arms. So when you lower yourself in a push-up, you want your arms to be coming back. So your arms should be coming back 90 degrees, right? I mean, it's okay if you have a little bit. Let me face forward, maybe it's easier to explain. So when you come down, you don't want your arms to go out. It's okay if they do a little bit, maybe about no more than 25 to 30 degrees out, but for a standard push-up, we really want them to be coming back. So back. My arms aren't really coming out like this, they're coming back. Sorry, before we begin, I should probably mention when you lower yourself, you take a deep breath in, and when you come up, you exhale. Okay? All right, so from the side, we'll be doing 30 push-ups with our back straight, looking forward, arms back, and inhale down. All right, and so you're gonna do 30 of those, or as many as you can, and that is how you do your push-up. Okay, so now let's just say you might struggle with doing a few push-ups. There are modifications or alternatives that you can do to help you build that strength before you go into actual push-ups. One of those modifications is doing them on your knees. Now, we've all heard that those are girl push-ups, so let's go ahead and remove that from our minds altogether. There's no such thing as a girl push-up. So when we're doing push-ups on our knees, we are allowing our bodies to get used to the weight and the pressure that we put on it. And the more we do that, we allow ourselves to build strength. So there is nothing wrong with doing the push-ups on your knees. In fact, you should do it if you're building up to get that strength to do a standard push-up. So when you do your push-ups on your knees, it's very important. Same rules apply. So you're gonna keep your arms vertical, and remember, your back is gonna be straight. So when you're on your knees, you're not gonna go down and keep your butt up. that doesn't count. So when you're doing your push-ups on your knees, make sure that, again, back straight. Your pelvis isn't touching the ground. Your pelvis isn't hitting the floor. Your butt isn't all the way up in the air. We're not doing either one of those, right? So we have to make sure our back is straight. We are on our knees, and same rules. So arms vertical and lower, up. Lower, inhale, exhale, lower, exhale. So same rules apply. Okay, back straight, up. Okay, so for the push-up, if you're struggling to do either the knee push-ups or just a standard push-up, then there is another alternative to help build the strength and also kind of get the familiarity with just doing the motion of a proper push-up. And it's what we would call a wall push-up. So as you can see, I have a nice empty unused wall behind me. Very simple to do. So with your wall push-up, you're going to keep, again, proper form, making sure that your arms are vertical to your chest, and you're going to mimic the motion of a normal standard push-up. So when you're doing a normal standard push-up, you're on your hands and you're on your toes. So when you come in during a wall push-up, don't have your feet flat, stand on your toes just as you would be in a normal standard push-up. Make sure that you have some distance between you and the wall, just maybe about 1 or 2 feet. And again, your legs are shoulder width apart. You're gonna have your head cocked up, and when you go down, your arms are coming back. So we're not out, we're back, okay? And same breathing rules apply. So when you go forward, you're going to inhale, and when you push out, you're going to exhale. All right, so inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale in, exhale out. And you're just gonna do however many you can do. You should be able to do 30. If not, then wherever you land is fine. Try to aim for at least 15. That way you get the motion down and you build a little bit of upper body strength at your chest level. So that way when you do progress into the knee push-ups, then it's not completely taboo, right? You have the strength to hold your body weight up, a portion of your body weight up, pull it in and pull it out. And then from the knee push-ups, I would recommend to progress to just the standard push-ups. All right, so the next part of our 30-30-30 workout are the sit-ups. And let's get right into it. When we do our sit-up, we want to make sure that our feet stay flat. We don't want to come up we want to keep them flat, okay? And we want to make sure that we keep our core tight, but not to the point where you can't breathe and not to the point where you're holding your breath. You want to be breathing the entire way through. Just as with the push-up, there's a proper way to breathe in and a proper way to breathe out when you're doing a sit-up. So when you're flat on your back, that's when you should be filled with air at this point. Coming up is when you're going to exhale. So hands behind your head, and you inhale, exhale, coming up. Inhale down, exhale up. Okay? Now, a few things to note. When you come up, you don't want to swing yourself up, right? So you don't want to do any of this. You don't want to throw yourself up. Everything's got to be in control. So you have to keep your core tight to be able to lift yourself up, right? That's part of us doing the sit-up. We're building up on that core strength. So when you're starting off, it's very easy to want to throw yourself up. And I get it, you know, the more reps that you do, you might be close to 30 and maybe at 26, 27, you're starting to get tired and then you start kind of forcing yourself up. Completely understandable. That's normal, but you don't want to spend your entire exercise throwing yourself up. You do want your core to work at pulling yourself up. So everything is about being in control, and using proper breathing technique is going to help you maintain that control. Now, the other thing is that when you come down, you also don't want your body to just plop down. Again, you need to use your core muscles to lower yourself down. So when we're up here, we're not just we're not doing that, okay? So always be in control. Keep your feet flat. If you have trouble keeping your feet flat, I mean, maybe you have a good friend that can step on your feet, or you can put some weight on your feet to help keep them flat. Or like I used to do, you can just slide your feet underneath the couch, and that should help keep your feet flat. And the reason why is because you don't want to have your feet tilted to where you now have leverage to pull yourself up. You want your core to be doing the work. You want your core to be stable. So keep your feet flat and don't go too fast, but also don't go terribly slow either, unless that's the intention. So control movements up. Your head is at a 45-degree angle looking up, and lower yourself. Inhale and then exhale up. And then again, lower yourself. Okay? So 30 of those after you do your 30 push-ups. It's okay if you take maybe a few seconds in between, 10 seconds tops, but don't allow yourself too much of a break between the different exercises. Especially since we're only doing 30, 30, 30, we really want to keep our heart going, our heart racing. Before we begin the last one, I should probably also mention, so if you struggle with doing a sit-up, a nice alternative, a few alternatives actually, to help build that core strength would be to do a plank. So a plank hold of about 30 seconds to a minute. Pretty much think of a plank as being in your push-up position, but you're not doing anything. You're just holding that position. So same rules apply. Core tight, arms vertical to your chest, butt low but not touching the ground and not high. Back straight, look forward, and hold for 30 seconds to a minute. Now, if it's a challenge to keep yourself up high, you can hold low. So again, same rules apply. Back straight, face forward, and hold. And you would hold that position for anywhere between 30 seconds to a minute. Keep your core tight the entire way through, and that would be a great way for you to develop core strength, and in time you'll see that you'll be able to perform a sit-up. Another great alternative to the sit-up are crunches. So you can have your knees up, legs crossed, and I like to bring my knees in as I crunch just to get that extra crunch, but you could just, come up part of the way, down. Same rules apply as your sit-up. So you inhale, go back. You exhale up, inhale down. So and again, you can bring your knees in. So you can do 30 of those to help as a replacement for the sit-up. All right, so, and in time, again, enough crunches, you're gonna be able to do sit-ups pretty quickly. Okay, so next exercise. Okay, so for the last exercise on the 30-30-30 routine, it is the squats. And squats, when I first started, was the hardest for me. So I guess right now is a great time to talk about contraindicators and what that means. Okay, so a contraindicator, just to summarize, is a specific area on your body that is either weakened, that may pose a serious risk when you apply pressure or when you're doing any kind of physical activity, and they tend to limit your range of motion. So I'm using myself as an example. Back many years ago in my early 20s, I had suffered a bone injury, and the surgery, although it was successful, the bone didn't quite heal properly. So on my right ankle, I have a very limited dorsiflexion, which is flexion upward, and it's very limited. So while I can do certain exercises, putting pressure on a squat, I'm really limited to how far I can go without support. So that's a contraindicator that's specific to me. Other people might have the same sort of injury, maybe a similar injury. You may not have any injury and therefore have no contraindicators, and if so, great for you. But yeah, it is something that you need to be mindful of. You don't want to do exercises where you will end up injuring yourself. So always be mindful of what specific injuries or weakened areas are specific to you when you're exercising. So we should be able to modify exercises or find alternatives so that way you can get the same muscles worked out without actually putting the specific area to risk. So that's just a little bit about contraindicators, and we'll touch more on it on a later video in the future. But for now, using myself with my contraindicator on my right ankle, we're gonna go over squats. All right, so when we're doing standard body weight squats, we wanna make sure we follow specific rules, which would mean having a straight back, making sure that our feet are shoulder width apart, and that when we're squatting, we're not leaning forward. So breathing. When you're squatting, the breathing is a little different in terms of the way you breathe when you're going down and coming up compared to maybe a push-up and a sit-up. With a push-up and a sit-up, it's very clear-cut, You breathe one way in one motion, and then you breathe the opposite way in the opposite motion. So with the body weight squat, you're going to want to make sure you take your inhale breath when you're up top, and then you might think you exhale when you're down, but in reality, you're gonna exhale on the way back up. So imagine you're in chest high water, right? A little bit below the sternum, okay? And so you're going underwater. You're gonna get your breath up top, and then when you go under the water, you're not doing any kind of inhaling or exhaling when you're below the water. So you're gonna hold your breath and you're going to push back up, and only when you come back above water is when you're going to perform your exhale. So Underwater, hold your breath, come back up, exhale, and get your breath again up top. So you're gonna inhale up top. Make sure your back is straight. So when you're squatting, you're not leaning forward to do a squat. Try to keep your back as straight as you can possibly have it. It's good to have your arms outstretched to kind of give you that extra bit of balance. And your feet, should probably go over the feet, right? Your feet, though they're shoulder width apart, it's okay if you go just a smidge wider than shoulder width. With a standard body weight squat, we're not doing this number, right? So we want to be as close to shoulder width apart as possible. And also, it's okay if you have your feet at about 30 degrees open. And that's to allow for a deeper squat versus having your feet forward. And somebody like me who's got a contra-indicator on their ankle, it's tough to get a deep squat when I have to keep my feet forward. So by pivoting them out just about 30 degrees, you can go even further with your squat and keeping your back as straight as you can. Oh, and I probably should mention that when you're squatted and you're coming up, make sure you're squeezing your glutes, right? So you're down, and when you come up, make sure your glutes are squeezed, your core is tight, and you come back up. Okay, so from the top, from the front, a regular squat, have your feet forward or at least up to 30 degrees, which is fine. You put your arms out, pull them straight out, make sure that they're parallel with the ground. Okay, so we're not here, we're here. And you take your deep breath in. When you're up top, you hold that breath. When you go down, and then you come back up. Inhale in up top. Hold that breath as you sink. Core tight, glutes tight, come up. Okay, one more time. So big breath in. Big breath in. And one more time, big breath in. One more time, we're gonna do it again, but from the side, okay? Legs about shoulder width apart. Back straight, head up, arms parallel to the ground. And you take your big breath in, so sink. Everything tight, squeeze up. One more time, inhale in. Now, if you're having trouble with your squats, 100% okay. There's a few things that you can do. So one thing you can do is a wall-assisted squat. So find yourself a nice empty canvas that you can press your back up against. And you're going to keep your back straight, walk your feet out just a little bit, and you're gonna have your legs again shoulder width apart. Now, with your back up against the wall, what you're wanting to do is keep your head forward, have your arms out. Right now, we're not gonna worry about the breathing. I'm just showing you the form. Arms out, and then when you sink until you get to where your legs are parallel with the floor. So they should be at a 90-degree angle. Same with your arms. Everything should be parallel. Your arms, your legs, the floor. And I would say maybe hold for about 10 seconds before you come back up. Okay? So you can do a few of those. So one more time, inhale in, and then sink. And as you're holding, breathe. And then after a few breaths, or about 10 seconds, come up. And then that's an assisted wall squat. Now you can hold that position when you're low for longer to really give yourself a burn in your quadricep muscles. All right. So the other thing that you can do to help build the strength in your quads to be able to do a squat.
That you
can take any counter, a sturdy table, or even a door for that matter. I'm going to use the counter as my example. And all you have to do is grab onto whatever it is, door handle, counter, table, and same rules apply. Back straight, legs shoulder width apart, and then sink. And when you're doing this, you want to make sure, again, everything is at 90 degrees. This will even allow you to sink a little lower, and then you can push back up. So again, keep your core tight, squeeze the glutes, and then as you come up, push up. Now, you don't want to rely on the table or the door or the counter to be doing most of the work for you. You really want most of the work to be coming from your lower body. You're really using whatever it is that you're using as leverage, support. So when you sink low, and then come back up, but all of it should be coming from your core, okay? And those would be two different ways that you can perform a squat without actually relying solely on your own body weight. They're great ways for you to build up the lower body strength, the core strength, to be able to progress into a full body squat. Okay, so now that we've covered push-ups, sit-ups, and squats, we're gonna put everything together to do our very first beginner-friendly 30-30-30 workout. It's okay if you don't make it to 30-30-30. Remember, right now, we're just starting off, so we're gonna go as close as we can to 30-30-30. Wherever we stop at, we're gonna say, okay, that's what we're gonna be building off of. So wherever you stop, whether that's 10, 10, 10, 20, 20, 20, 15, 15, 20, whatever it is, we're gonna use that as the starting point. Each week, build a little bit on top of that. So if you did 10, 10, 10, maybe do 12, 12, 12, and the week after 15, 15, 15, until we get to 30, 30, 30. Me, myself, I'm new to this as well, right? I am a new personal trainer, so there's a lot that my body still has to get used to. I do work a full-time day job that is sedentary, where I'm just sitting on my butt all day. So there are going to be some exercises that are a challenge for me too, but that's completely okay. What we want to do is persevere, we want to be consistent, and we want to push ourselves. And me, myself, as a new personal trainer, I aspire to be a great fitness coach someday. And that's my goal. So, and I want to be able to use myself and my journey to help inspire some of you that might be watching. So without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, no matter where we are, we're going to make it through today.
Fight! 30. I think I did a little more than 30, but 30.
15, I think. That might be our magic number. All right. And there you have it. 30, 30, 30. Good. Yes, I'm out of breath. No, there's no such thing as a super personal trainer. Everybody, professionals and newbies like me alike, you get tired. You get tired. But I'm hoping that inspires you to just keep going. No matter how often I do the 30, 30, 30s, they still kick my butt. So eventually I want to get up to 40, 40, 40, but until that day comes, it's just 30, 30, 30. And that's the thing, right? So you want to push yourself to get a workout. Sometimes it is good to push yourself to the point of failure, but you also need to know how to pace yourself and conserve your energy. You probably can't tell, I'm actually hot. I'm drenched in sweat. It's hot in my apartment, and after just doing that, woo-wee, yeah, I'm cooking. But yeah, no, it's a great time. Always great to get the body going and to keep your heart rate going. You want to keep the arteries flowing. You don't want to build up plaque. Atherosclerosis is a very dangerous thing. And a lot of us are afflicted with heart disease and don't even know it. It's actually the #1 leading cause of death in the USA. So doing things like the 30, 30, 30, as nominal as it might seem in the moment, in the long term with consistency, it's actually very beneficial to your heart health. All right, everybody, it's that time. I know you're tired of hearing my voice, maybe even tired of seeing my ugly mug, but that's okay. We did our first exercise and we did it in flying colors. So good job to yourself, good job to me. Let's give ourselves a round of applause. And yeah, I mean, if you like what you see, if you like the content that I'm rolling out with, please do me a favor and like and subscribe. I could really use the support. Right now it's really just a one-man show. So I'm doing the editing, the videography, and maybe one day this gets big enough I can start outsourcing some of those roles and responsibilities. But yeah, I would really appreciate the support. And I mean, hey, if you guys have any suggestions, feedback, things that you want to see, please, by all means, go ahead and leave a comment and I'll be reading through those. And yeah, I'll take anything into consideration and start incorporating it in the things that I upload. But until next time, again, don't want to keep you guys any longer. Thank you for tuning in to My Fitness Drive and have a good evening.